Hi everyone, Kerry here, and I just wanted to talk to you about the ribs for the injection molded skeleton, and whether I'm supplying them or you're actually making them yourself, the process is pretty much going to be the same. So I just wanted to talk to you about not only what I supply or what you'll need and what it takes to actually put it together and get it ready for your skeleton. When you get it from me, you're going to get a total of 12 ribs, and these will be combined in the end to make a total of 6 cross pieces, which this is what actually snaps into the circular portion of BB-8 and supports the orange panels. When you get them, you're going to have one rib which looks a little bit different. I call this the LED rib, and this is just simply because it has a notched out area for one of BB-8's cosmetic panels where there is an LED package, for lack of better words, right where the rib goes. On top of that, you'll have 5 more ribs, which I call over ribs, and that's just simply because this portion where the 2 ribs that connect goes over. And then a total of 6 under ribs. And this goes under, and that's why. What you're going to need on top of that, and what I supply when you get them from me, in this little baggie, what you'll have is a total of 24, and these are 3mm by 30mm socket heads, 24 lock nuts, 3mm, and then 24 brass inserts, and these are for 3mm as well. And these will be heat set from the back side. From the standpoint of what you're going to need to put this together, you're going to need some sort of super glue. I actually suggest the Gorilla super glue, and that's just simply because I've used it and I've tried it, and it sticks really, really well. You're going to need a 5.5mm wrench, and then a 2.5mm Allen key to assemble everything. And then you're going to need a soldering iron with some sort of a pointy tip on it, and that's essentially for just putting in the brass inserts. From the standpoint of preparation, it's actually pretty easy, so let's go through doing one of them right now, just to give you guys the idea. So first thing you're going to want to do is I'm leaving the supports in the end of the ribs. I'm doing that just so if they get banged around during shipping, nothing gets broken on accident. Just take a pair of needle nose pliers and just grab and twist, and that should break out of there really easy. At this point, once you have that out, what you're going to want to do is take your skeleton piece, or the entire skeleton, and fit it onto here. Make sure that they fit. Now, you don't want them to the point where you're actually pressing it into place, because if you do that, because they are printed, you could take a chance of splitting the rib. So just take an X-Acto knife or something like that. Make sure that you clean out the excess. And these are printed to be a pretty tight fit. You're going to need to do a little bit of adjustments just to get them right. And what you want to do is just, you can even use a little bit of sandpaper or something, or a file. I like a file, it's easy and quick. Just to take any excess support material. Now what really should be holding it out in any case is just support material. The ribs themselves have been printed to be a really nice fit with the actual skeleton. So once I get the support material out, you'll find that it fits in there really easy. And it's, like I said, it's not a super tight fit, but it shouldn't really be wobbling side to side either. Once you get all 4 sides, or all 4 of the ends, so that way they fit right, the next thing that you want to do is you want to take the 2 ribs, and they essentially just interlock with these 2 areas here. Stack them together, and they should fit tight. I mean, there shouldn't be any real play. If there is a teeny tiny bit of play, that's okay, because you want a little bit of area for glue. When you stack them together, the main thing you want to make sure of is that, see if I can get this in the photo here, you've got a nice smooth transition from one area to the next. And whether you get the ribs from me or you do it yourself, you're going to want to check this, because even me, I'm printing them on multiple different printers, so you have very slight variations from printer to printer. I've dialed them in, so even these pieces, which are coming off of both of my printers, they all fit together really nice, and I don't think these need any sanding at all. Regardless, fit them together, make sure that they fit nice and flat and smooth. If you need to, you can take a little bit of sandpaper and sand down here in the groove area or on this side until you just get a really nice fit. Now, at that point, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your Gorilla Glue and essentially just flood this joint. Make sure you get it on the sides, all the way on the bottom, all the way around. And kind of what I found I'll do is I'll stick it together really quick, wiggle it a little bit, pull it apart, make sure that I have glue everywhere, and then put it back together. You're going to want to take this and clamp it just to make sure that it stays nice and tight while it's actually drying. Once this is dry, you should be able to take this, if you printed your pieces right, set it on the desk, and all 4 pieces should be extremely close. You can have a teeny tiny bit, that's okay because these will flex a little bit, but it should be very close. If you find out that one of your ribs is standing up, in other words, you go to put them together and you're sitting on your desk and you've got a gap, what that means is your ribs are too tight together. So what's happening is when you push them together, it's actually flexing this out like that. It's critical that you get these right, and the reason why, if these are sticking up too far or down in too far, what's going to happen is your orange circle, which bolts on top, is either going to bulge out, so you'll have gaps and it won't want to stay flat, or the exact opposite will be sucked in, and you may actually end up damaging something. So take your time on that step. Once you get the 4 pieces assembled into the crosses, and they're all smooth and everything's joined like it should be, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put the brass inserts in. This is the portion where you guys and girls really need to take your time doing it. Take your small tipped soldering iron, and what you want to do is just simply slip the insert onto the end like that. Let it heat up. I'm not sure if I could really get this on film, but I'll give it a shot. At this point, the main thing is as you're pushing these into place, make sure that you're staying going straight down into the hole as much as you can. What you're going to want to do is, as soon as it's flat with the inner surface, look at the front side and make sure there's no plastic covering it. If there's plastic that ends up covering this, just take something while the plastic's still warm and just kind of push it away from the brass insert. You just want to do that. That way when you go to put your screw in later on, it doesn't get blocked by the plastic right there. Like I said, just make sure that this guy's flush. And the nice thing about this is they should ride pretty true. They should be an exact fit to the actual skeleton or the orange ring. If they don't fit, if your orange ring is on there and something's not quite right, you can always take your soldering iron and go back, heat it up, and just do a slight adjustment because you may have put it in just slightly crooked. After you get all 4 of those pieces done and put in, and this is glued together, the last and final step is simply to put in these screws in the end. So these guys just go through here. Now they're going to be a little bit of a snug fit. If you want, you can open them up. And it is a 3/32 inch bit. Just run the drill bit through there really quick and just open it up. At that point, put it through, put the screw through, put the lock nut on. Now what you want to do is you want to tighten down the screw to the point where it's snug. But if you look with my hand, I can still, might be a little bit hard to see, but it's not so tight. I could still actually just rotate the screw, but it's not rattling and it's not loose. It's kind of the perfect tightness. And the reason why is because if you torque this down too much, you can end up cracking something. But it's just perfect for sitting in there and being nice and tight. Now, when these are in, if you want to, let's say you don't take these out a lot, once they're in place, you can actually tighten this bolt if you just want it to be a little bit more snug on there. I think at that point I've covered just about everything that I could think of. There are links in the actual document in the Sphere Builders group for for printing out the ribs for the print files. Plus there's links to McMaster-Carr for the different types of screws and brass inserts and things like that that I suggest. If you have any questions, just send me an instant message or just write it on the thread on BB8 Builders Group or Sphere Builders Group, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Thanks a lot.